with Ekaterina, tips and tricks for learning a language. Today let's discuss how many words do we need to know to master a new language. That's a very interesting question, especially for adults who always want to know how long, how much, how many, and all these things. So when you ask this question, when you're in the beginning of your journey, it might be a little bit discouraging, and the fact is that nobody knows what is the real fluency. We discussed it in our previous topics, and nobody actually knows how many words do you need to use in your everyday situations. According to estimates, again, if you Google, the range would be huge, but according to some estimates, normal person in everyday life knows 20,000 words in the native language of active vocabulary you're actually using. We are talking about educated people, mostly with higher education, or people who read a lot. And on top of that, you have another 20,000 words of your passive vocabulary, which means that there is a list of the words you would never use. You probably heard them once or twice, but you know what they mean, and if you read it, you will be able to distinguish them. That means that an average native speaker will know approximately 40,000 words. Is it possible in your target language to know 40,000 words? Here, if you go to the BBC articles, they would say definitely not. And moreover, they estimated students who were learning English, Korean students who were learning English for 1 year, and they're saying that they cannot go over the threshold of 1,000 words, which is not really impressive, isn't it? For example, in Chinese, if you want to read a newspaper, you will need to know 5,000 characters, which in combination it will be more words. It will be approximately 8,000 words. And we have the huge variety of numbers, 40,000 with passive vocabulary, 20,000 educated person after the university, 8,000 in order to read a newspaper, and then 1,000 is for learners who use the language. The problem is that in everyday vocabulary, in everyday situations, at the kitchen, at work, in transport, you would never use your whole range of vocabulary. You will operate approximately with 800 words. 800 words is B1 probably level, or maybe A2 level, and this is what we use over and over and over again. And as a learners, we cannot really acquire more than 800 words living in a country, because nobody around using them, if you're not in the university, of course. And we don't repeat them all the time, we don't hear them all the time, so even if we learn them, we forget them immediately. And that's how it's very difficult to get out of this 800 words A2 B1 vocabulary and go to advanced level. And they say that it's impossible to learn more than 20,000 or even 20,000 in non-native language. I don't know if it's true. I'm sure they are wrong, because if you are passing an exam for C1 or C2 level, and there are people who can pass non-native exam for C1 level, guarantee lots of people. C2 is more tricky, because C2 is the level of English teacher whose native language is English, or Russian teacher whose native language is Russian. So it's not a foreign level at all. But lots of people are passing C1 exam, which means that you are able to get at least 10,000 words, for example. It's very difficult to count. I cannot sit and literally start to count how many words do I know. And here again, if you're a beginner, you're probably wondering how much words do you need to know as a basis. So as a basis, you will learn 200 or 250 words, and this is the basic of any language, which will allow you to operate daily. You will guess lots from the context. If you know this 250, it's it's not the half of 800 in everyday situations, but 250 is enough to express your wishes, to express your desires, to express how much you feel. How to check how many words do you know? There are quizzes online. I don't know if they're true or not, but you can find check how many words I know in, and then put the language, so they will try to show you different words in different spheres of the language, and see if you know them or you don't know them, and they estimate how much they know. And now we are approaching the question what to do with this knowledge. So in order to get A2 level you need 800, for B level you will need approximately 1000, and for native speaker level, or in order to read classic literature, you will need 40,000 or even 50,000, 60,000 in some languages, including all the words that native speakers understand and non-natives wouldn't. How to improve your knowledge? But firstly, try to concentrate on the words which have the different stems, like beauty, beautiful, beautifulish. So you cannot say beautifulish, I just made it up. So try to learn some stems which allow you to form adjectives from them, or verbs or adverbs. Try to know how to form different part of speeches from given noun, for example, and that will be helpful. So you will learn 800 words and you will be able to form another 200 out of them, and you will be able to understand a lot more from the context. Read more. You need to read more, definitely, because only in read and translated, only when you read you expand your vocabulary really. And also try to listen not only to music, some pop music, try to listen to serious podcasts on serious topics, or for news, serious again news, or maybe you can find lectures from the university in open access online, and try to listen to university lectures in your target language. That's how you will know if you are able to understand or not, or what words should you use. All these cards, like Anki cards, or even spaced repetition card, like Anki is the spaced repetition cards, and flash cards, they're not very useful because they will form a huge pool of passive vocabulary for you, and at the end you will know it, but you won't be able to use it, or if you're not using, hearing and reading them all the time, you're just forgetting them. It's a good way to start, it's something to start, it's a good way to maintain your knowledge, but in order to find the new words, in order to acquire new vocabulary, try to read more. That's probably the best option, and if you can, try to read something which has audio, try to find a book and an audio book, so you can listen and read at the same time. You will help, you will move this way with your ability to listen, you will move with your pronunciation, because you will know exactly how to pronounce this word, and you will expand your vocabulary hugely. So my advice, just keep going, doesn't matter, target 1000 words, it will be very good if you're a beginner now. If you want to go to the next level, you have a huge way to go, because 40,000 is a big number. Let me know, what do you think, what is your experience, do you feel that you know all this vocabulary, and how much words do you think you know in your target language? Leave me a comment in the box below, I'm excited to learn about your experience. And thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, consider supporting me on Patreon, the link is below. Thank you, and I hope to meet you very soon. Goodbye.